Good morning, good morning. All right, I had to make sure the sound was on. So y'all gonna get that little clip this morning. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know, I talked to my sister this morning and I always, we discuss sometimes like little mistakes and errors and things that go wrong. And I explained to her, like, I don't edit out errors. And I do that on purpose, right? If you make a mistake, you have to work through it. There is a process of going through whatever you have to go through and doing whatever it is you have to do to go through it. And it's about being in process. You know what I'm saying? If you want something to just be perfect, just be perfect. It doesn't ever get to that state to where it could be accepted as perfect until it is going through a process. Right? So, case in point, you see me now working on the sound. I forgot to turn the sound on today. Well, you're gonna get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I want this to be perfect, I actually need a production team. To get the production team, I got to keep producing until I grow
Right.
to having a production team. All right. So that's my little word for this morning. Because, we're going to be moving forward. We're checking out farmland and we're getting stuff situated. And, there's a lot of processing and progress that has to be made. We're almost to our 100th episode. It'll be coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We're almost at episode 100. And we are in the book of Ben Midbar, or in the desert, you call it Numbers. So now we're going to pick up, which chapter we on?
Or chapter 20 and 1.
Okay, chapter 20. We're going to dive right in. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel came to the desert of Sin on the 10th day of the month Nisan, and Miriam died there and was buried there. So Miriam passes away. Okay? And some time has passed. Okay? It doesn't tell us in which year she passed. It just says eventually when they came to this point, she passed.
Right.
Okay? And as on account of the innocence of Miriam, a well had been given, so when she died, the well was hidden, and the congregation had no water. And they gathered against Moses and Aaron and the people that contended with Moses and said, would that we had died when our brethren died before Yah. So they got no water and they mad with Moses. They had water every other time. This time, they don't have no water. Because Miriam died, and the well, the water, it was always Miriam who could find the water. She knew where the water was. She knew how to get to the water. They called it her well because it seemed to follow her.
Wow.
Okay? And why hast thou brought the congregation of Yah into this desert, that we and our cattle may die here? And why didst thou make us come up out of Mitzrayim, the west, to bring us to this evil place? I'm telling you right now, the Most High is going to be hot and mad. All right? So you keep saying it's better where you are now. And the same way they said that Egypt was better than where they're going. Where you are now, you own nothing. You produce nothing. Okay? Even the ones among you who believe that they have nothing. Okay? Anything that you have of value should immediately be given in exchange for a possession of land. And I don't mean buying land where you are. You need to buy land out here where there's no taxes, where you outright own it and it is passed on from generation to generation. Not there where
It's going to be destroyed.
you miss a tax or two and they just take it from you.
Right.
So you don't own it. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's makes sense logically. Even if you don't believe it's going to be destroyed, you can know that you don't own it. I don't care what the deed say. The tax man said.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they're calling the land an evil place, a place which is not fit for sowing or for planting figs or vines or pomegranates, and where there is no water to drink. And Moses and Aaron went from the face of the murmuring congregation to the door of the tabernacle of ordinance and bowed upon their faces, and the glory of Yahweh Shekinah was revealed to them. So Moses and Aaron, they go and they pray, and Yahweh speaks with Moses and says, take the rod of miracles, take the stick I've been working miracles with, and gather the congregation, thou and thy brother Aaron, and both of you adjure the rock by the great and manifested name while they look on. This is adjure. So let's take a look. So we hear now, and it says, speak to the rock. But if it refuse to bring forth, smite thou it once with the rod that is in thy hand, and thou wilt bring out for them from the rock, that the congregation and the cattle may drink. And Moses took the rod of miracles from before Yahweh, as he had commanded him, and Moses and Aaron gathered together before the rock. And Moses said to the people, now the Most High has not told Moses to say nothing to these people. He said, talk to the rock. I'm going to show you something you probably have never seen before in your life. So the people are thirsty, and they're complaining because they thirsty, right? Any other time the murmuring people complained, Moses heard from the Most High. Moses did what the Most High did, right? They're afraid of death. And immediately Moses beseeches the Most High on behalf of the people for their need, understanding the need of the people. Now it is 40 years later. How do you know it is 40 some odd years later? Because we're getting ready to see how this goes down. So after that last group died, they wandered around. At the end of a certain time period, 38, 39, somewhere around there, Miriam dies. Could be 39, 40-ish. It's around this time, the end of this wandering. This is where we are now in 20. So that's a time skip.
Right. And you shared that the other day about
Said it the other day.
skip.
There's a time skip here. Okay? And Moses said to the congregation, hear now, rebels. Is it possible for us to bring forth water for you from this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand and with his rod struck the rock 2 times. The first time it dropped blood. So now Moses has shed innocent blood. But at the second time there came forth a multitude of waters, and the cattle and the congregation and their cattle drank. There's a problem here. Moses didn't talk to the rock. He just talked to the people and he hit the rock. He hit the rock 2 times. He hit the rock without just cause. Notice I said Moses talked to the rock.
Yes, he did. He was very specific on what to do.
He said, do it while the people are looking. Speak to the rock, Moses. Moses is tired.
He's frustrated with their contention because
He tired. He had no intention of being out here 40 years.
yeah.
But Yah spake to Moses and Aaron with the oath, because you have not believed in my word. So because you have not followed in the instruction I gave you. This is the point of everything of why I do what I do, why I take the road I take, and why I go through the processes I go through, is because I have spent 7 years dedicated to the study. Okay? Out of 7 years, I've only worked one. One. Only one. In 7 years, I've only worked one. And I've learned I didn't really want to get into depth and to teaching because I feel like most people get into teaching too soon. They don't dot the I's, they don't cross the T's, they don't search out the questions, they don't search out the answers, they don't search out processes, they don't order the timeline, right? They don't plot out the instructions. And just to at least know what each set of instructions is. Okay? And you say to me, what is Rabbi Sheikh talking about? Well, let's take a look at a car. A car is a complete system. Okay? So if your car don't start, you have to look at the starting system. If your car is overheating, you have to check the coolant system and maybe the oil system. Whatever is wrong with the car, you have to look at each of these individual parts separately. You know, if you have a dent, you have to go to the body shop. If you have an engine problem, you go to the engine shop. If you have an electrical problem, you have to go to the car electrician. Right? These people have specializations in certain things to make the whole thing work together. You need windows, you go to the window man. Anybody that had a car, because this is a popular tool that everyone uses. You know, if you need muffler, you got to go to the muffler guy.
Right.
Brakes, you go to the brake man. You know, and while the majority of mechanics who go to school and to train can fix and work on every part, most tend to specialize in a few areas and let others have the other areas based upon where they are, materials necessary, and whoever else is working. If there's a muffler guy and no engine guy, I'll just take engines. It's just easier. I don't want to fight with the muffler guy to do mufflers. You see? I can just be the oil change man and clear money, you know? I could just do my part in keeping the car maintenance up, right? If you want your oil changed in 15 minutes, you're gonna come to me. If you want your car to sit on the lot and wait for the mechanic to get around to it to do an oil change, do that.
Right.
So here we have this problem. Moses and Aaron did not obey. So when you see the word believed, they did not obey the instruction. This is the problem we have as a people today. Everybody is happy to have found the claim of their identity, but nobody has yet obeyed the instructions. I got follow the law. You lying. Because the fullness of the instruction is not about you keeping a Shabbat day. You have to start possessing the land, buying farms. You have to buy it on this side. And if you didn't understand that, then you need to understand you need to step back from leadership. You need to step down and you need to come in and gain some instructions, some insight among our books because you don't know what you're doing. You have sat for 400 years in captivity without knowing the basic steps to find your way out of a ditch that your forefathers put you in.
Right.
So you did not obey my word. You have not believed in my word to sanctify me. So in other words, to set my word apart as it's perfect. In sight of the children of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this congregation into the land that I will give them. These are the waters of contention, where the sons of Israel contended before Yahweh on account of the well that had been hidden. And he was sanctified in them, in Moses and Aaron, when the waters were given to them. So these are the waters of contention. This is where this argument, this bickering happened, and it caused this confusion. It caused this conflict. Then Moses sent messengers from Rechem unto the kingdom of Edom. This is Saudi Arabia today. Saying, thus saith thy brother Bani Israel. Thus saith thy brother Israel. Thou hast known all the trouble that has found us, that our fathers went down into the west, into Mitzrayim, and dwelt in Mitzrayim many days, and the Mitzrayim afflicted us and our fathers. And we prayed before Yahweh, who heard our prayers, and sent one of the ministering angels to lead us out of Mitzrayim. And behold, we are in Rechem, a city built on the side of thy border. Nothing's changed.
The land ain't lost.
The land ain't lost. The Messiah sent one angel. So we're looking at this angel sent one of the ministering angels to lead us out of Mitzrayim, out of the west. Sent one. So whose was the one in that time?
Wasn't it Michael?
It was Moses. You see, most of you look at the word angel and you don't know the word angel is a messenger. Okay? So he sent Moses to lead them out. Okay? Today, that angel is me. After my whole time, my whole process and everything I've gone through, it was all in preparation to extend to you this invitation today. Why today, Rabbi Sheikh? Why not before? Well, I've extended the invitation to you before, and you had the opportunity to come into the land directly, but you refused that opportunity, which the Most High said you would. It is written that you would not do it that way. And now I'm here, in the border. Okay? I am in the place is called Jordan now, but it wasn't Jordan always. So I'm here in Jordan. There's Saudi on one side and the land of Israel and Jerusalem on the other. So here we are.
Here we are. And there's only one instruction, you know? The more and more that we read, the more and more it's made clear. There is no other way of salvation.
Right.
There's only one way, and that is buying, possessing
Land.
the land. That's our salvation.
Right. And even the farms we're looking at, these farms are not unproducing. They're producing already.
Yes. So we don't have to wait for the 4 years
To begin harvesting,
harvesting.
and they're already working.
Yeah.
You know? So, but if I'm not here to pitch and sell you, because actually
No.
I already know how this is going to work. The majority of you are just going to pass on over to the other side. So let's see what they said. So Moses says the messenger to them and says, let us now pass through thy land. So they're passing through Saudi now. We will not seduce virgins, nor carry off the betrothed, nor commit adultery on the king's highway under the heavens. We will go forward and not turn to the right or the left to do any injury in the public way while we pass through thy border. But Edomia, the Saudea, answered him, you shall not go through my coast, lest I come to meet thee with the unsheathed sword. Israel said to him, we would go by the king's highway. If we drink thy waters, I and my cattle, I will give thee the price of their value. I will only pass through without doing wrong. But the king said again, you shall not pass through. And Idumea came out to meet him with a large army and with a strong hand. So Idumea would not suffer Israel to pass through his coast, and Israel turned away from him. So in the last Exodus, when we came and we needed to pass through Saudi, right? In that time, Saudi owned and possessed all of Yemen. And if we said, don't pass along the coast and don't take the highway through. Okay.
Quick question.
Yes.
In verse 17, I'm reading what Musa said. Let us now pass through thy land. We will not seduce virgins, nor carry off the betrothed, nor commit adultery. Is this something that the men were doing?
No.
Why he will even mention?
No.
That?
It's just you have an army and armies do this.
Okay.
So he's saying, strong men coming through, they come through, they start, buying and doing business, and the girls, they see strong men, handsome, and this and that. And we're not going to come in, we're not going to touch any of the women. We're just going to pass through.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So Edom would not suffer Israel to pass through the coast, and Israel turned away from him. And it was commanded from before Yahweh, before the word of heavens, that they should not set in battle array against them, for as much as the time was not yet come. We'll be right back. So, for as much the time had not yet come. Hold on 1 second.
On verse 21.
Yeah, I'm here. For as much the time was not yet come when the punishment of Edom should be given into their hands. Okay? So they had to travel around the border a different way.
Okay.
And the children and the whole congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from Rechem and came unto the mountain of Oman. So we are now looking at this leg of the journey. So we get to the mountains in Oman, right? Now, Oman had more land than they have today. They were larger. It's smaller now. Why? Because Saudi has consumed it. But the thing I want to point out is that the Most High says he's going to start to punish Saudi, but he didn't punish them in that time. I don't know when, but he says there's a punishment for not being righteous with your brethren. So we're going to watch and wait and see. This is something to watch. We're just going to see what the Most High does. So they went from Rechem and they finally came around to the mountains of Oman. And Yah spoke unto Moses in the mount of Oman on the coast of the land of Edom. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oman is on the coast. We got the Persian Gulf, and they're on the coast of Edom on the other side. Saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people. Aaron is leaving.
Yes, he is.
For he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because you were rebels against my word at the waters of contention. Here you go.
They were rebels because they did not obey the instructions. And so that's why when we see in the writings of the prophets, when they call us today as rebels, because we're not obeying the instructions.
There's the facts. So you take a look at that and you come to a point where you start to see and understand something about Aaron and something about Moses. You really start to get the picture, because what happened was the Most High called them both.
Yes, he did.
He said Aaron and Moses, and neither Aaron or Moses adored the rock. You see? Very meticulous about details. When the Most High give a detail, you have to go over it, double check it.
Yes.
Take Aaron and Eleazar his son and make them come up to Mount Oman. And thou shalt strip Aaron of his vestments, the adornment, the glory of the priesthood, and put them on Eleazar his son, and Aaron shall be gathered and die there. Rest in peace, Aharon.
Yes. So he died there in Mount Oman.
Right. And Moses did as Yah commanded him, and they ascended Mount Oman in the view of the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his vestments, the priestly decoration, and put them on Eleazar his son. And Aaron died on the summit of the mountain. And Moses and Eleazar came down from the mount. And when the soul of Aharon was at rest, the cloud of glory lifted up on the first day of the month of Ab. That was last month.
5th month.
Just like the 9th of Ab, 1st of Ab. Ab is A rough time. And all the congregation beheld Moses come down from the mountain with torn, rent garments. And he wept and said, Woe unto me for thee, my brother Aaron, the pillar of Israel's prayers. And they also wept for Aaron for 30 days, the men and the women of Israel. And Amalek, who had dwelt in the south and changed and came and reigned in Arad, heard that the soul of Aaron was at rest, that the pillar of the cloud, which for his sake had led the people of the house of Israel, had been taken up, that Israel was coming by the way of the explorers to the place where they had rebelled against the word of Yah, against Yah of the world, where they had rebelled against the Most High. For when the explorers had returned, the children of Israel abode in Rechem, but afterward returned from Rechem to Maserot in 6 encampments during 40 years. So this 40 years later. When they journeyed from Matzaroth and returned to Rechem by the way of the explorers. So there's the coast way, and then there's an explorer way. Okay? Explorer way means the way is very hard. It's not common. You know, it's only new people take this way. Everybody else take the regular way. It's convenient. Okay? And came to Mount Oman, where Aaron died. Behold, he came and arrayed battle against Israel, and captured some of them with a great captivity. And Israel vowed a vow before Yah and said, If thou wilt indeed deliver this people into my hand, I will destroy their cities. So now you have the Amalekites, the Amalekim, and they come and wage war against Israel, feeling like they're weak. We're not going to do nothing while Moses and Aaron is there. But now their priest has died. We're going to go and wage war. We're going to push. Right? And they did. And as with any war, no war is a landslide where they come and wipe everything out. You fight, the other side fights back, and there is a retreating. In the retreating, in the time of rest, the children of Israel prayed. Okay? And Yah heard Israel's prayer and delivered up the Canaanite. So the Arabs, right? So Saudi Arabia, so the Amalekites at that time merged with the Arabians. And these are the Cushite Arabs, the Arabia of Cush, of Ham seed. And he destroyed them and their cities, and he called the name of the place Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Oman by the way of the Sea of Suf, that they might compass the land of Edom, and the soul of this people were wearied in the way. So now they're journeying by the Sufi Sea, which we call today the Persian Gulf, and they're trying to journey around Saudi Arabia. Okay? And the people thought wickedly in their hearts and talked against the word of Yah and contended with Moses, saying, Why didst thou bring us up from Mitzrayim to die in the wilderness? For there is neither bread nor water, and our soul is weary of manna, this light food. Okay? Now we have an issue here. Okay? Miriam's gone, Aaron's gone. Now it's just Moses by himself. It's taking another lap.
You know, this generation of people here are just like spoiled and entitled, and when things don't go their way, they're always reflecting back to what life was like in Mitzrayim. But when they were in Mitzrayim, they complained where their life was. You know, it's just reading it is taxing. You know, it's like these people are never satisfied because things don't go their way in the way they want. You know, they complain.
Again, they're making their journey harder
Yeah.
because they, again, when given the option to take the lawful path, they deviated.
Right,
So
right.
there's a law. This is a law. You can write it down. And if you say, well, where's that law written? I want you to go and find out for yourself. Okay? If you make a mistake and you go down the wrong path or you avert from the instruction of the Most High, there is no way to circle back around quickly and correct it. Once the judgment has been pronounced, you're finished.
You got to deal with the consequences.
You're going to walk through the consequences 100%. Now, I can look back because we've gone through the 400 years of hard bondage in the house of bondage, the land of slaves, right? The West, the United States. There was no way to get out. You were not supposed to get in the situation
From the get-go.
from the first place. You just had to follow the instructions. Now, the only way out is the instruction, which we have, which I'm reading to you. And as you can clearly see, I know some of you are probably trying to follow along with your King Jameses, and you're lost. You're lost because you don't have these details. These are only found in the Aramaic, which we do provide for you. If you click the link, you can buy the book. You can read it for yourself. You can follow along with us. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about and then decide on whether or not you want to follow instructions or whether you want to take the time and opportunity to try to create this for yourself. Time is not on your side, but you're more than welcome to try. There's no shortcuts. It takes an extensive amount of time and commitment of reading and studying 6 days a week, every day, to compile multiple chapters from multiple books for multiple years, letting the word define itself. It is completely different from anything else you'll ever read in your life when it comes to concerning instructions, scripture, history, and otherwise.
And you know, with this book, there's no trying to figure out.
No, it explains itself.
It explains itself.
Just keep reading. You'll get another verse or a couple of chapters down. It picks right back up the subject and about this. This is what happened.
Right.
So they said that the manna was light food. They were tired of eating it. And the bath coal fell from the high heaven and thus spake, Come, all men, and see all the benefits which I have done to the people whom I brought up free out of Mitzrayim.
Mm.
The bath coal, some of you don't know what the bath coal is, right? So I'm trying to feel like if I should explain this now or I should wait. I'll wait.
Okay.
Okay? It's a messenger. It's an angelic messenger. It comes in certain times for really prominent revelation when the back coal falls.
Mm.
Okay? He says, all men see the benefits which I have done to the people who I brought up free out of Mitzrayim. I made manna come down for them from heaven. Yet now they turn, then they and murmur against me. Yet behold, the serpent in whom the days of the beginning of the world I doomed to have dust for his food, have not murmured against me. So the Most High has manna, which tastes like honey and coriander, and you bake it into a bread, come down from heaven in complete rows, and you harvest it and you eat it for 40 years. The Most High cursed the serpent to crawl on his belly and lick the dust. He got dust for food, and the serpent never said nothing. He just took his punishment. But my people are murmuring about their food. So you complain about the manna I'm sending you? All right. Now shall the serpents who have not complained about their food come and bite the people who complain.
Wow.
Therefore did the word of Yah send the basilisk serpents, and they bit the people. And a great multitude of the people of Israel died.
Mm.
Moses ain't crying out. You noticed?
I noticed.
Moses said what he said. Moses just let it be. That's not a bad thing. It's not. Moses should have done some of this in the beginning. He wouldn't be tired now if he let the Most High
deal with
these people. See?
Yes, sir. I see it.
Let the Most High separate who he's going to separate, eliminate who he's going to eliminate, and deal with who he's going to deal with. And a great multitude of the people of Israel died. And the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned in thinking and speaking against the glory of Yah's Shekinah, and in contending with thee. You see, had Moses had let the Most High's wrath fall upon the people, had Moses let the Most High's wrath fall upon the people, they would have repented of their own volition, and the Most High would have took who he was going to take, and they would have seen. And notice the Most High says, come all men. This not only for them at that time, this I'm speaking to you today. Now let the whole world see all the benefits which the Most High has done for thee, and how you speak against him and follow in a multitude of false religions, false ideas, how none of you will hear the word of the Memra and come unto the truth that I speak, though I've spoken it for years, hundreds of videos. So they said to Moses, Pray before Yah to remove the plague of serpents from us. And Moses prayed to the people. And Yah said to Moses, make thee a serpent of brass and set it upon a place aloft. So set it up high. And it shall be when the serpent has bitten any one, if he behold it, then shall he live. If his heart be directed to the name of the word of Yah. So here we have a beast attacking people by the command of Yah, and by the command of Yah, beast will attack people again.
Yep.
And Moses made a serpent of brass and set it upon a place aloft, and it was when a serpent had bitten a man, and the serpent of brass was gazed at, and his heart was intent upon the name of the word of Yah, he lived. And the children of Israel journeyed from thence and pitched in Oboth. And they journeyed from Oboth and encamped in the plain of Megistha, in the desert place which looketh towards Moab, from the rising of the sun. So they're on the other side of Jordan. They're in what's today modern Saudi Arabia, but they're looking from the west because the sun rises in the east. So they're looking from the far east westward to Jordan. So they're on the far eastern side of Jordan. They way on the other side, looking at Jordan, at Moab. Thence they journeyed and encamped in the valley, abounding in reeds, osiers, and mandrakes. And they journeyed from thence and encamped beyond the Arnon, in the passage of the desert that stretches from the coast of Amorah, which is Sodom, toward Arnon is the border of Moab, situate between Moab and Amorah, which is Sodom. And therein dwelt a priesthood of the worshippers of idols. Therefore, it is said in the book of the law, where are recorded the wars of Yah, Eth and Heb, who had been smitten with the blast of leprosy and had been banished beyond the confine of the camp, made known to Israel that Edom and Moab were concealed among the mountains in ambush to destroy the people of the house of Israel. So Jordan, well, Moab at that time wasn't Jordan the state, but the area of Moab, the Moab desert. The people there and Saudi had joined together to ambush and kill Bani Israel. But Yah of the world made a sign to the mountains, which pressed one to another so that they died, and their blood flowed through a valley on the brink of the Arnon, or the valley adjoining or beside Arnon. So the Most High made the earth squeeze them together and pressed out the blood, and it flowed like streams. And the effusion of the streams of their blood flowed to the habitations of the Kaita, which were, however, delivered from this destruction because they had not been in their councils, and behold, it was unto the confine, the border of Moab. So the Most High is only killing the guilty. These are the lessons you're going to learn. And this is what you're going to see. The guilty will die. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. And from thence was given to them Bani Israel, the Israelites, the living well, the well concerning which Yah said to Moses, assemble the people and give them water. Then behold, Israel sang the thanksgiving of this song at that time, that the well which had been hidden was restored to them through the merit of Miriam. So they sang, spring up, O well, spring up, O well. Sang they to it, and it sprang up. The well which the fathers of the world, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob dug, the princes who were of old digged it. The chiefs of the people, Moses and Aaron, the scribes of Israel, found it with their rods. And from the desert it was given to them for a gift.
Yeah.
So the well in the spring, which sprang up from their singing, it was the same well that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob dug for them
Wow.
in preparation. And for them, it was given to them in Matanah, turning. It went up with them to the high mountains, and from the high mountains it went down with them to the hills surrounding all the camp of Israel, and did give them drink, everyone at the door of his tent. So the water sprung up and flowed, and it went in a way that you didn't have to go nowhere to get water.
Wow.
And from the high mountain it descended with them to the lower hills, but was hidden from them on the border of Moab and the summit of the hill looking toward Beth Jeshimon, because there they neglected the words of the law. Then sent Israel messengers to Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, I would pass through thy country. We will not carry off the betrothed, nor seduce virgins, nor have to do with the wives of men. By the highway of the King, who is in the heavens, we will go until we have passed through thy border. I'll be right back after this. I gotta go to the bathroom.
We won't be passport bros.
All right. So the people in Beth Jeshimon, because they neglected the law, they didn't get no water. The people of Moab didn't get no water either. Then Israel sent messengers to King Sihon. So we're looking at King Sihon now. And said the same thing. I will pass through thy country. We will not carry off the betrothed, nor seduce virgins, nor have to do with the wives of men. By the highway of the King who is in heaven, we will go until we have passed through thy border. But Sihon would not permit Israel to pass through his limit, but constrained all his people and came out to Jahaz and made war against Israel. And Israel smote him with the anathema of Yah, that he would destroy him with the edge of the sword. And he took possession of his country from Arnon unto the Jabbok, unto the border of the children of Ammon, because Rabbath, which is the limit of the children of Ammon, was strong, and so far was their boundary. So now you can see that the children of Israel stopped at the border of Ammon. I'm in the same space at the border of Oman today.
Yeah.
And so now the country of Jordan has grown. They have taken more land. I don't care about what they took. It's not for me,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's not for me to cast stones. I just follow the instruction. But I'm permitted to be here,
Yes.
so I'm going to be here. We can be here together. I do not have to make war with you.
Right.
The problem was, at this time in the past, they came out fighting. You know, we send the message of peace. We just want to pass through. We have been passing through paces and not taking wives. Why would we
Do it now.
do it now? And Israel took all those cities and dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all their villages. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, king of the Amorite. For he had before time made war with the king of Moab, and had taken all his country from his hand unto Arnon. So Sihon defeated Moab. And the children of Israel defeated Sihon and got Moab for free.
Right. And Heshbon is actually only like 30 minutes from here where we are. Yeah, it's not far at all.
Therefore, say the young men or the chosen one using Proverbs, the righteous who rule their passions, say, the righteous who rule their passions, not passport bros, the righteous men who have control over their passions, their appetites, to bring themselves to be subject to this law and letting their appetites rein in. I don't need to come here and take a wife. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. I'd rather just take what the Most High says take and do what the Most High says do. They say, come, let us reckon, let us heshbon, let us reason, let us calculate. The strength of a good work by recompense. What? Come, let us heshbon, reckon, reason, calculate. The strength of a good work by recompense. And the recompense of an evil work by the strength. For whoso is watchful and diligent in the law is builded up and perfected. Whosoever is diligent in the law is builded up and perfected. So if you're diligent over following the instructions, you become builded up and perfected. Didn't say you won't have challenges but you become, it perfects your steps, you build properly because you begin to take care of issues as they come. It's a recompense. Let the issue come. There's no way to shortcut it.
Right.
You have to deal with what you have to deal with when you have to deal with it.
Yes.
For mighty words like fire go forth from the lips of the righteous. The masters of such thought, calculation, heshbonah, and powerful merit like flames from those who are read and devoted in the law. Their fire devoureth the foe and the adversary, who are reckoned before them as the worshippers of the idol altars in the valley of Arnona. It goes on to read, woe to you, ye haters of the just, ye have perished, ye people of Chemosh, haters of the words of the law, in whom there is no righteousness, unless he waste you to bring you captive unto the place where they teach the law, and their sons and daughters be removed by captivity of the sword, to be near them who consult in his counsels, the instructors, and those anointed with the law. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it sounds like this proverb was for today.
It is, and it's telling you seriously, like, woe to you, ye haters of the just. Ye have perished. So this is who's going to die.
Die. Mm-hmm.
Okay? Ye people of Chemosh, haters of the words of the law. So if you hate what I'm reading you, you hate what I'm teaching you, you hate what I'm telling you, in whom there is no righteousness, there's no righteousness in you.
Yeah.
Unless he wastes you to bring you captive unto the place where they teach. Unless the Most High kill you, waste you, destroy you, until you be brought captive to the place where they teach the law, and your sons and daughters be removed by captivity of the sword to be near them who consult in its counsels, the instructors and those anointed with the law. So before you are anointed with oil, you have to be anointed in the law. There is a deep study. Mm-hmm. So now, any of you scholars, you might notice some prophecies here. When they say they'll bring your children dandled on shoulders and knees, if you have the King James Version. You'll notice the prophecy, it says you'll be brought captive by force to the law if you have the Aramaic. But let's see what the wicked have to say. The wicked have said, in all this there is nothing lofty to the sight, but your numbers shall perish until the falsehood of your souls be ended. And Yah of the world destroy them till their lives have expired. And they have come to nothing, as the cities of the Amorites have perished, and the palaces of their princes, from the great gate of the house of the kingdom to the street of the smith, which is nigh to Madaba.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not far from you.
And Israel, after they had destroyed Sihon, dwelt in the land of the Amorites. Mm. And Moses sent Caleb and Pinhas to examine Makbah. And they subdued the villages and destroyed the Amorites who were there. Mm. They turned and went up by the way of Mathnon, and Og, the king of Mathnon, the Nephilim, came out to meet us, he and all his people, to give battle at Edrei. Mm. And it was when Moses saw Og, he trembled before him, stricken with fear. But he soon answered and said, this is Og the wicked, who taunted Abraham our father and Sarah, saying, you are like trees planted by water channels, but bring forth no fruit, teasing against Sarah for being barren. Mm. Therefore, the Holy One, blessed be he, spared him to live through generations, that he might see the great multitude of their children. So here's now the children of Abraham now face to face with Og. And Og has lived generations. He got his own multitude.
But he allowed him to live as long just to show him who he is.
Right. That he might live to see the great multitude of their children, the children of Abraham and Sarah, and be delivered into our hands. Then spake Yahweh unto Moses, fear him not, for I have delivered him into thy hand, and all his people and country, and thou shalt do to him as thou hast done to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelled in Heshbon. Now all of this is happening today in Saudi Arabia. So Mecca, it's all in this area, all over here. This is all happening over there, right? The spring, everything, it's all happening in this area. Now it was after Og the wicked had seen the camp of Israel spreading over 6 miles, he said with himself, I will make war against this people, that they may not do to me as they have done to Sihon. So he says, I'm going to go out and meet them to war. They're not going to catch me like they caught Sihon. All right. So he went and tore up a mountain 6 miles in size and brought it upon his head to hurl it upon them. Told you he was a Nephilim. And he think he going to throw this mountain on some people. Well, we're going to see how this goes. But the word of Yahweh forthwith prepared a reptile. A reptile? A reptile.
A reptile.
Who ate into the mountain and perforated it. And his head was swallowed up within it. So he sought to withdraw it. He's trying to get the mountain off his head. It's stuck in the mountain at the bottom. But it could not, because his back teeth and his front ones were drawn hither and thither. So Og looked like an ogre. His back teeth and his front ones, they was poking out his mouth. And so it got stuck in the mountain. And Moses went and took an axe of 10 cubits and sprang 10 cubits. So he took an axe of 10 cubits and then he leaped with it 10 cubits and struck him on the ankle of his foot. And he fell and died beyond the camp of Israel. And thus it is written, and they smote him and his sons and daughters and all his people until none of them remained to escape, and they took possession of his land. So they killed Og the giant and all his people with him. And the children of Israel journeyed and encamped in the plains of Moab near the passage of the Jordan toward Jericho. Now you say, where is this at? Well, again, they're still going in the circle. They can't come this way. They're going back around again. All right? And we're going to stop here because the next part is super duper 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 important. Og is dead. If you didn't know who Og was, Og survived on the ark through no righteousness of his own with Noah, one of the Nephilim. So when they said Nephilims was here, this is who they was talking about. If you didn't know what Nephilim was, Nephilim is the father of white people. The sons of Cain, the white people. Everybody else melanated. Varying colors of brown, the rainbow, but this is white people who's a Nephilim. They come from Og. Now they have a place. They're supposed to be over there in America. It's the land of their that was given to them as a prison. They're supposed to be over there. Ain't supposed to be over here. Now that's our time for today. I hope you all enjoyed this reading of the law. I hope you all learned something. And I'm looking forward to the ones who's coming to get anointed with the word before you're anointed with
the
oil. One step at a time, one day at a time.
One.